One of my main criticisms for the current state of politics is that it seems to have infected nearly every aspect of our lives. It seems like there isn't a thing in the world that can't get snowballed in to a huge culture war battle normally waged by the reactionaries on the right. But first, if you want to support independent progressive media and help me make it to 1,000 subscribers, please remember to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 1,000 before the end of the year, and I would very much appreciate your support. Now, I'm not much of a sports guy myself, but you probably know as well as I do that sometimes the line between sports and politics can get a little blurry. We saw that with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. That was a big deal. We saw the whole Laura Ingraham shut up and dribble be a big deal. It seems like no matter what it is, people on the right are laying in wait to try to pounce on any little thing. This is one of the ways that they are able to effectively control our news cycles, and they are able to set the agenda for what we are talking about in our society. They have become particularly good at this, and no aspect of our lives seems to be off limits. We just saw this in the sports sector yet again after Caitlin Clark was nominated as Times Athlete of the Year, and she made a fairly innocuous statement about how the WNBA was built off the backs of many black women. Here's what she said. "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. This league has kind of been built on black players. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing." So, I'm not exactly sure why this is so controversial. It seems pretty obvious to me that the WNBA had a lot of black women that helped it succeed. And Caitlin Clark is a white woman playing in the WNBA, and she is acknowledging that maybe a little bit of white privilege exists in this country. But instead of just letting this one pass by, of course, people like Megyn Kelly, Charlie Kirk, and others wanted to pounce on this and try to turn this into an anti-white racism thing. She spouted off the mouth over at Twitter, Megyn Kelly, and started degrading Caitlin Clark for her bending the knee to these black women. I find it particularly disgusting. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Megyn Kelly said on her show, and then we will discuss.
And what she says is she feels the need to acknowledge her white privilege. Basically, she's sorry she's white. She feels really bad about it, though, so you should give her a pass. And then she makes a point of saying the ones we really need to be celebrating are the black women on whose backs this league was built, which I have to tell you is so condescending.
It really
It's
is.
true that most of these black women have been bullying her and want her to understand it's their league. Hello, you don't own the league. Blacks don't own the league, just like whites don't own tennis or golf. Nobody owns the league. This is America. Anybody can play if they're good enough. But they want her on the knee. You'll bend the knee and you'll apologize for being white, and you will suck up to the black women who built this league before you, or you will be beaten. You will be assaulted, and you will be bullied with no friends. So she does it. She finally did it. She bent the knee, self-flagellated over white privilege.
Is everything going okay for Megyn Kelly? I feel like these unhinged rants are becoming a bit more frequent. Somebody should maybe check on her. This is just not normal. What the hell is wrong with her? If we go back to the quote from Caitlin Clark, where in here is she apologizing for being white? Are you guys seeing it? I'm not seeing it. What is so wrong with saying that I play with a lot of black women and it would be nice to elevate them too? What is wrong with that? These people are so used to beating people down that they don't even know what to do when somebody is trying to lift people up. This is like classic MAGA movement. Unless they have somebody to pick on, unless they have somebody to bully, they just cannot help themselves. This should be a fairly innocuous statement. White privilege is something that has existed in this country, And the WNBA was built on the backs of many black women. This should be non-controversial. But over in the right-wing world, they want to turn this into an anti-white racism thing, which I find grotesque. Can't they find other things to fight about? Do they really need to go picking on basketball players? Caitlin Clark isn't somebody who is out there talking her mind about politics all the time. Caitlin Clark isn't going and looking for these fights. But this is what the MAGA movement does. They look for fights, they go pick fights, they go to bully, they go to criticize, and that's all they've got. They do not know what it looks like to lift people up. They can only beat people down. Charlie Kirk went on to say, actually, this is probably one of the most degrading things. Listen to what he says about Caitlin Clark.
Now, Caitlin Clark was met with widespread criticism, and it's deserved. But you should just kind of cut her a little bit of slack of, look, she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't have the fortitude or the spine or the wherewithal or the capacity to fight on these types of issues that I wish she would be able to.
Oh, Caitlin Clark, she's just a little girl. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't have the spine to fight. What is wrong with these people? Caitlin Clark just wants to lift up the black women that she plays next to every single day. She wants to acknowledge that the WNBA had many black women that helped bring it to where it is today. She just wants to acknowledge that those things exist in this world, and she wants to give credit to the people that allowed her to get in the spotlight or become part of the spotlight that the WNBA is currently experiencing. What the hell is wrong with that? Can somebody please tell me? I just don't understand why they want to pick all of these fights all of the time. And then for them to try to say that this is anti-white racism is just a whole new level of crazy to me. And then you've got Scott Jennings over at CNN bringing this conversation to a more national stage, trying to degrade what the WNBA is. What do they build? This isn't a good thing. Check out what he has to say.
Well, a couple things. Number one, whether you're an athlete or anyone else, if I hear you use the phrase "my truth," I immediately then discount everything else you say, because there isn't my truth or your truth. There's just the truth. And when you start using phrases like that, it tells me that
not true.
Your brain has been captured by something that I don't really respect.
That's not true.
Number two.
That's not true.
Number two, the attention the league got this year was amazing, and it was all because of her. She is an amazing player. The arenas were full when she played in them. The TV ratings were up when she was on television. That's undeniable. But, the league still lost like $40 million this year. And it's never made money. And to me, when you're talking about having respecting people who built something, what did they build? A league that loses money every year? She has the capacity.
What do you mean?
To
What did they build? What do you mean? What did they build?
What kind of a business did they build?
They've had a business model that has allowed women who have never had a professional sport here in America, in the United States of America, to play. They've kept it alive as opposed to sending them overseas. That's what she's built. That's what they've built.
Could Scott Jennings be any more of a douche? Did he point and laugh at Uber when they were losing money hand over fist for the first, 5 or 7 years of their existence? Was he pointing out other tech companies that were losing money in their startup days as well? I mean, the WNBA, was only established in the 90s, and it is just now becoming somewhat prominent with women's sports really taking off this year in particular? Give me a break, Scott Jennings. And to try to downplay that other people have different experiences than you do is a major issue. Oh, my truth doesn't mean anything. I just tune you out. Are you here to tell me that Scott Jennings lived the exact same experience as somebody like Michael Jordan? Does he really not understand that black people have a much different experience in this country than somebody like Scott Jennings does? How degrading. These people have just lost the plot. This should not be a controversial topic. This should not be something that you pounce on to get your wins in. But that's all the MAGA movement knows how to do. If they are not fighting with somebody, then they don't know what to do with themselves. It's quite pathetic. Maybe they should put a little more of their energy into lifting others up. I feel like they've lost much of their humanity. They don't know how to love other people. They don't know how to express empathy for other people. They don't know how to understand that other experiences exist that is outside of Scott Jennings' existence. It just is wild to me. These people want to fight on every little thing, and they're often going places that are not trying to pick fights. Luckily, Caitlin Clark came out and was able to respond to much of this backlash. Let's go ahead and take a look at what she had to say.
And even today, earlier today, Megyn Kelly, she was saying that you were apologizing for your white privilege and the fact that you wanted to uplift black female athletes and make sure that they were getting the shine, kind of like your pioneers were getting the shine that they deserved. And I just want to know how you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that it's really not your problem. Like, I feel like it's them looking in a mirror a little bit, but it still comes down on your shoulders.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, like, I try to just be real and authentic and, you know, share my truth. And I think that's very easy for me. Like, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. And that's kind of been how it is my entire life.
Yes.
Pretty wholesome. What is so wrong with what she just said? I think Caitlin Clark is in her, she's 22 or something in there. And she's saying that, you know, Maya Moore was a black player in the WNBA. When Caitlin Clark was a girl, she used to look up to these women. She used to aspire to be these women. Is there something wrong with that? When I was a young kid, I liked people like Steve Young or Barry Sanders or whatever. We have these figures in our culture that we look up to, that we aspire to be. And for Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, that happened to be a lot of black women. Is there really something wrong with saying that she owes a debt of gratitude to the many black women that came before her that put the WNBA where it is today? Is there really something wrong with acknowledging that the black women have a different experience than Caitlin Clark? And is it really that controversial to say that, hey, I hope that we can lift many of these black women up as we go? These MAGA freaks should be ashamed of themselves. They should spend a little bit more time learning how to engage with others in an empathetic way. They should learn how to love others. They should learn how to show a little humanity. But instead, we get people like Megyn Kelly, who is losing her damn mind and yelling like a crazy person because Caitlin Clark showed some humanity. I'll leave it there. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. Like I said, I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I am in my final stretch with less than 100 to go. So I would very much appreciate your support. If you want to see how Joe Rogan's brain has been completely rotted by MAGA conspiracy, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.